to 500 Open Tabs. I'm Hannah Hillam.
And I'm Kaveh Taharian. Welcome back to the show. Hannah, how are you doing this week?
Good.
Great. So am I. Nothing's wrong.
Good for you.
Everything's perfect.
In this domain, in this podcast bubble, everything's great. And
listen, once we hit record, everything gets fine because we just get to like bullshit for an hour and a half and it's fun. Yeah.
Dude, the crow is back. I told you about one of the... Yes, he's still out there and I located his nest or her nest.
Did you ask him to come be a guest on the show?
You know, he just pooped on me. No, just kidding. I did talk to him a little bit.
Sounds like when you and I record in person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Someone gets shit on.
We just shit on each other for 10 straight hours every convention. No, the crow is outside. I've seen him a few times. I said hi to him once, and then I watched him harass a different person than me.
Was that person also a podcaster? Maybe he just has like good sense to know.
He might just know who's a huge loser.
Yeah. He's just like, get out of this neighborhood.
Like, this person's in their 30s and they started a podcast. I'm just going to scream at him.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not a bearded man like I am, which makes it so much more sad.
Yeah, but I'm a white woman with blonde hair or brown hair.
Oh, that's true.
True crime.
That's true. We are the worst of both worlds.
Yeah. I'm
really
a white goth woman and you're a bearded dude. And we have a podcast.
That's not a configuration you usually see together, though.
No,
I think that's
usually
the
they're like not. Look,
yeah,
we're
it's like
a gap.
separate. There we are. We're helping people unite with their hatred.
White women with anyone.
And straight bearded men.
Yep. Winning combo.
Great.
I was gonna say, besides the crow, nothing's, everything's fine.
Good. No news is good news.
Welcome back again.
Thank you. This is my first, as you were saying before we started recording, this is the first time you and I, obviously it was really fun to have Patrick on last week.
Yeah.
But this is the first proper, like, you and I doing a show together in, I guess, like a month, which is kind of crazy.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
I hope I haven't run out of dumb shit to say. I don't think that's ever going to be a problem.
There's nothing less true than that statement. So
that's true.
It's just you're an endless fount. Come on.
Endless fountain. It'll never stop. It was things are good though. Unfortunately the room's still not quite as pretty as I would like it to be to have the background because I'm obsessive about it. But
welcome
I just look
to a blank wall group.
Yeah,
the blank wall club.
It's a slow and steady. Slow and steady progress to be able to actually like put stuff. God, it takes forever. I forgot how long it takes.
I know.
Moving is just like months.
It's a
months.
nightmare.
Yeah. Anyway,
but
otherwise,
a box
okay.
in our garage with stuff from our last move in it.
That's exciting. That's not surprising.
Like, great. Forgot about this. Anyway,
Amazing.
Sorry I interrupted you. What were you saying?
No, it's okay. I was just saying, just situating stuff and everything's okay. But I'm excited to be back at it this week. I remember last week you left us with a little bit of a cliffhanger about, it sounded like crows taking care of other animals or something is what you were teasing about.
Something along those lines. More like, I'll get right into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, like you said, crows and how they interact with humans, but like how do crows and ravens in particular treat other animals? Because they are some of the smartest animals on Earth. So it's like, I wonder how they would, interact with other things like that. And which of course led me to open like a bajillion more tabs. Duh. Classic.
That's why we're here.
One of which was an article from the Buffalo Bill Center of the West, which sounds awesome.
It's just Buffalo Bill sitting there being like, oh.
Exactly. It's like,
here there, great big old raven.
I need to watch that movie.
Can't believe you've never seen it.
Well, next time we're together, we'll watch the movie, okay? Or not. or I won't. Don't tell me what to do.
It's so great.
Anyway, it's written by Anne Hay.
Anne Hay. It's worst joke. But we both made it.
And we both made it at the same time. So she writes about the noticeably special relationship that people started to notice between wolves.
I thought you were going to say between the British and the Americans.
Between such a special relationship.
Special relationship. Remember that? That was fun.
Weird. It is weird though because we like worship them, but we also like rebelled against
Brits?
them. But we're like, well, a bunch of people here are like the royal family, and it's like, guys, ew.
I hate it. It's so gross.
We hate them. Remember?
Yeah, some of us are real Americans here.
Some of us are patriots, and we don't listen to kings. Okay?
Exactly.
So this special relationship, much like the U.S. and the U.K., between wolves and ravens.
Wolves and ravens have a relationship.
Yes.
I didn't know this.
In Yellowstone National Park specifically.
Okay.
Back in the 1870s, Yellowstone was designated as the very first national park in the world, which I didn't
What
know that.
is this? Our boy John Muir and
I
going
think
around doing
so.
some stuff? I don't know. Maybe that no, that was a little bit later when
A little bit
he's
later. I think, I don't know. I didn't read about
because
that.
that's when he's with Teddy Roosevelt, where he goes on like a romantic hike with Teddy
That's right.
Roosevelt, and he's
Making
just
out with
like, oh,
them.
he's like, we should have
Look at this
national parks be
bird.
a thing. Yeah.
And Teddy's like, I'll do anything for you, John.
Sidebar, I'm like fascinated by that trip that they took because like
Yeah.
Roosevelt was like, known for being a preservation, or I'm sorry, Muir was known for being a very famous
Right.
conservationist. And then he was trying to convince Teddy Roosevelt. And then like they go on this like one romantic evening where it starts snowing and they're in Yosemite and then they come
Oh,
back changed men. So it's like, I'm sure there's fan fiction of the two of them
I,
just
if
going to
there's
town
not,
on
get
each
on
other.
it. If there's not, I need it stat. No,
Sorry.
I don't.
Continue.
Please keep interrupting. Please
You're like,
interrupt me.
why would you start a tangent about fan fiction of Teddy Roosevelt and John Muir touching tips? Don't you know? And they
That
kissed.
should be on the
your...
Utah State Quarter instead of the trains. Muir and Roosevelt / fic.
touching tips.
Anyway, the first national park on the world was designated in Yellowstone in 1870.
USA.
Right? Yeah, that's honestly one of our best contributions to the world.
It's true. Yeah.
By far. If we don't
America's
get
greatest
remembered for
idea.
anything else, I hope it's just that. And not the expansionism and the manifest destiny. Anyway, so it was the first in the world. And the gray wolf population, Montana and Idaho used to be like covered in gray wolves.
Mm-hmm.
And it was already kind of in decline from hunting, from like, speaking of Britain, people who come over and start overhunting and killing everything.
Oh, I know.
And,
I've been drawing a lot of wolves lately for that one project I'm on. I've been looking at lots of gray wolves.
Well, this is for you. This is a little bit of wolf and a little bit of raven. Okay. So back then, the parks didn't have any laws in place that prevented people from just bringing guns in and killing any animal they saw.
And soon again, they'll go back to that.
That's the thing. We're looking down the barrel of another one of these. So you could just walk into these parks and be like, I'm going to kill these wolves and then take them. And pretty soon people were like, hey, better not. Like, these might be... But that didn't stop people from completely wiping gray wolves out of all of America by 1926. Yep. So they were seen as a nuisance to livestock, and everyone's like, just kill them. And, it shouldn't, they're not the apex predator of the area. They're not what do they call them? A keystone animal.
Yeah. They're not locals.
They're not local. Look. This is our land.
Classic.
Anyway.
This is like hunting gentrification. They just come and pushed out the wolf population.
Look, we're the new wolves. We'll kill you.
Huntification? Is that a word?
Huntification. It's like the purge, but for so there were regulations put in place, but not for wolves. Like they protected every other animal except for wolves and bears and mountain lions. And this continued. They all got wiped out. And of course, what happens when you remove a keystone animal from its environment?
Yes.
Everything gets out of whack. And crazy.
Also, I might add, I'm totally speculating here, but I wonder if part of it too is that like wolves in particular were seen as sacred by a lot of tribes as part of like their creation stories too. So I'm sure they're just like, whatever, kill all the wolves. We don't care. It's part of like this psychological warfare
the culture.
against
Cultural
the Native
warfare,
Americans. That's completely my own projection here. Again, based on what I'm working on right now. But
I wouldn't be surprised even if it was just almost like a subconscious representation of the like drive them out kind of.
Oh, they worship
attitude.
These wolves like that's part of their thing. Let's
get
kill
them out
of
here. Yeah.
I bet you that's part of it too.
Same. I think you're right. Sadly, I think at this point we can assume most of those things happened the way we the worst did happen. So the elk population ballooned. Like there were so many elk and they just started eating everything. Great. Which then overgrazing happened, the reduction of forests and grasses and just absolutely, they just like decimated Yellowstone, these elks.
Do you know enough about elks? I'm just curious right now where I'm like, what exactly is the difference between like an elk and a moose and like a deer and like how different is an elk from all that?
They're all different. Like their elks and deer are different. They're all different. They're all separate species.
I know that they're all different. I'm just saying like how different is an elk versus
I don't know.
It's like an alligator versus crocodile kind of thing.
Dude, I don't know. You want to look it up?
Elk are significantly larger.
Yeah, okay.
Tan rump batch. It's not. They're bigger. Anyway,
they're
sorry.
Bigger than moose?
Raven and crow. No, not bigger than a moose.
Oh, okay.
Elk.
They're bigger than
antlers. Terrify me. They're so
I know.
Cute. Whenever you see antlers in person, it's just like crazy. Did you know that moose shed They shed their antlers.
And they're all bloody for like a week.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
Have you seen the pictures of them like dueling with their antlers, and it like the like fuzzy skin comes off and it's just blood.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, we live on an alien planet.
Yeah, we really do.
And we forget that giraffes exist. Like what?
Oh, I don't. I love giraffes.
I forget they're there, and then I see them. I'm like, that's here on this planet with us. That exists here.
Not even just here, but like not like some weird like 2 miles below the ocean or something like where you don't normally see. Just
walking around,
chilling. Yeah,
with a big purple weird tongue and the little antler. Anyway, I look at giraffes and I think no, I don't think so. I don't know about these guys. Okay,
noted giraffe hater.
I don't hate them. I just don't understand why they. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So they decide, oh, there's so many elk. Now we can just hunt the elk.
Kill all the elk, yeah.
Huge, we're the new wolves, like I said. They did that for a while. And then the elk all like almost went away. And they're like, oh no, our hunting ground. So then they stopped hunting elk. Let them come back. They decimated the whole land again. And they're like, yay, more elk to hunt. And in the 50s, scientists were like, actually, we should probably bring wolves back. And everyone's like, no, we're good. We got this under control. But then they realized that not only did the elk population boom, so did the coyote population. And the coyotes start eating all the birds and animals that were smaller than it, which then it went all the way down to like a micro level, as
Yeah.
And then there was a huge decrease in the antelope population because the coyotes were killing the antelope. And then the mountain lions were like, oh, look at this. It's like no apex predator. I'm coming down to the mountains and I'm eating all these other things. So then the mountain lions.
It's like a power vacuum.
It's massive. It is a disaster. It was a disaster.
Then the religious fundamentalist animals came in and they killed everybody and took it all over.
They killed everyone and they run the place now.
Yeah.
You're activated. I'm activated. It's like I'm like dormant all day and then we talk and I'm like and turn into like a madman. Okay, the mountain lions, said that. So then comes along the Endangered Species Act of 1967, which the gray wolf was one of the very first animals added to it because it was at that point endangered. And it really started pushing people to be like, yeah, we actually kind of need the wolf. It was kind of a huge, point is, after decades of bureaucracy and political back and forth, they finally reintroduced 14 gray wolves from Canada back into Yellowstone National Park in 1995. Yay.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah.
It's like like that. Those wolves saw the OJ chase. Like that's how recent they were.
They were watching it on TV while they were
watching it in Yellowstone.
In Yellowstone.
Ordering Domino's.
Wolves aren't integrating. They're just watching the OJ trial. So balance was pretty kind of restored and things kind of went back to normal. Still kind of shaky here and there. There's like some pockets of weirdness, but it's still kind of balancing because of course it's going to take a little while. There's only like 7 generations of wolves at this point.
Yeah.
So with these wolves came the wolf watchers, who people just go and watch the wolves. They love them. And the wolf biologists. And one of these is the Yellowstone National Park wildlife biologist Doug Smith, who he retired a few years ago, but he studied Yellowstone wolves and their pack formations and behaviors for over 40 years.
I have a friend named Doug Smith. I wonder if
you do?
It's the same one.
I think a lot of people have a friend named Doug Smith.
This is my friend. We're trying to get him on, actually. He's the comedian.
Is he a wolf scientist?
I'm going to ask him. Should I text him right now?
This guy's like 70. So if your friend's 70 and an old white man from Montana.
No, Doug and I went to school together. He's the same age. I'm not 70.
Get him on here.
I will. I tried. We had to reschedule, unfortunately, but soon enough.
Know.
This is a very important tangent that the audience needed to know about.
Look, you're stress testing my brain in a good way. It's like, can you stay on course? It's like like you're getting shot at, like one of those like courses you have to like ropes course where you're gotta like jump on the little. Anyway, that's how it is. I'm gotta stay on course. So
you can do it. I'm very impressed so far.
Thanks. I crammed. So Doug also, he loved wolves, right? But he also loved birding. It was like his side hobby. So wherever he went, he would also be like, oh, look all the birds. And he'd note the birds. So, of course, he starts immediately noticing that with every kill a wolf or a wolf pack made, there were ravens there. So this made sense at first glance because many carrion birds do this. They kind of wait around and wait for the wolves or whoever to eat, and then they go and pick up the rest. And ravens are scavengers.
I think I know where this is going, actually.
And wolves are predators.
Yeah.
So it's obvious. So Doug and many other scientists, such as biologist John Vucetich and Rolf Peterson.
Vucetich. Rolf?
Rolf, John, and Doug.
It's
They
a hell of
noted
a
that
trio. It's like Rolf, Doug, and John
Rolf's,
are like,
you know what?
That's the kind of group of dudes who, like, when they go into a bar, they put The Boys Are Back in Town on the jukebox.
And they walk in and everyone's like,
Rolf! Boys are back in town!
John? No, and Rolf's the comedic
I was going to say, we need a Rolf in our crew. Why don't we have any? I don't know anyone named Rolf.
We're both Rolf. I don't know how to explain it, but we're both.
We need a literal third co-host named Rolf right now. I'm declaring this. If you're named Rolf, write into the show and let us know. We're going to recruit you. You better be funny.
A third co-host? Okay. All right. Look, I'm into it, sort of. I don't want Rolf here. Look, Rolf has to come sit by us at a table at a convention, and if he passes,
okay, we can audition there first. Yeah, see. All right, fair.
So a bunch of these scientists start noticing that they didn't just show up sometimes. They showed up 99.7% of the time. Mm-hmm. Where there's wolves, there's ravens. And where there's ravens, there's wolves. Because they started noticing that not only would the ravens show up, but the ravens would alert the wolves to potential predators and prey.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Vucetich said, it finally struck me that maybe the ravens aren't just bystanders. Maybe they have something to do with wolf pack formation. Yeah. So these ravens, they started noticing that they were kind of like scouts and like they were the lookout. So ravens would alert the wolves of a nearby potential kill. Sometimes they would even harass the prey until the wolves got there. And the wolves would respond to the ravens' calls and find the ravens and attack and then open up the carcass. Which usually they don't just like open it up, but they would open it up for the ravens because the ravens' beaks weren't strong enough to get through a larger hide like that.
Scratch my back, I scratch yours. People looking out for each other. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. And this served the ravens well. They're like, dope. Usually they would just peck out the eyes because they're freaks. So it appeared as though the ravens were just telling the wolves where to go, and the wolves were like, dope, great. While the wolves are hunting, they noticed that ravens actually recognize the calls, and they can communicate like that. And they'll act as a sentinel. So if they see a mountain lion or something, they will make the call that they usually make about a predator, but the wolves will understand it.
Interesting.
So they'll be like, So there's this, So they wolves can recognize their distress calls and vice versa.
Whoa.
And so the wolves kind of use them as their eyes and ears while in vulnerable situations, which kind of like a familiar almost, you know?
Yeah.
Another thing they noticed was that if ravens come across an already dead animal, they will also alert the wolves, who will then
come open this shit up.
Open
can opener. Here, stat.
They're the ravens can openers.
Yeah.
And then they both just eat it together. Like there's pictures
cute.
of them.
It's
just,
like a milkshake where like the two of them have straws and they're like sipping and they're like,
or like they're eating the spaghetti.
But it's like intestines and then they kiss. There you go. They get to kiss, Hannah. That's your favorite.
I don't care about the kissing. I just want them to eat intestines like spaghetti.
They're all throwing the eyeball like here with their beaks.
Here, you can have the eyeball. I want to draw that.
I know you do.
So it's Lady and the Tramp, but it's Raven and the Wolf, and they just
Raven and the Wolf
toss eyeballs back and forth. Anyway, so the ravens will pretty much like ask the wolves to like, hey, help me get into this animal, and they won't. The ravens are not observed to eat any large carcasses unless they're with wolves or unless a wolf opens it up for them as a can opener. So over the years,
they can't be bothered, right? That's the whole point. By the time it gets to
they're like, they're opportunists.
Once you go like 4-star, they're like, I'm not going back to this like taco stand side of the road shit. They're like, I need to have like
eggs,
gloves.
Yes. I need a valet.
Exactly.
And I need my pet dog.
I do not touch food that is not prepared by a wolf.
This food looks prepared by another raven. Can we know? I don't know.
Disgusting. Oh, they're classist. Yeah.
Ravens are so smart. I'm kind of obsessed with them. They might be my new favorite animal.
They're pretty cool.
And I'm not just saying that. And I know you've already kind of gone
just
down the
saying
raven
that to appeal to all of our raven listeners.
Yeah, well, hey, you don't know what they're going to do in the next whenever. I don't know.
That's true.
So over the years, these facts have popped up on social media nature accounts with like the buzzy word domestication. A lot of people are like, these ravens are domesticating these wolves, which was what sounded so cool to me.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Sadly, it's not domestication, at least not yet.
Okay.
What they're doing is a mutual or symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Some scientists even suggest that it's a little bit parasitic.
Yeah, it's more like a remora with like a shark or something.
Yes, like where the raven is way smarter than the wolf and has way more to gain than the wolf has. So the wolf only really uses them as like a lookout. Other than that, the wolves don't really need the ravens.
It's like technology. It's just made the wolves lazy, and they're like, cool, the raven will do all the work for me. Even though I could do this myself, they're out. It's AI. They've outsourced their skills to something else. And then they become reliant on it. And then suddenly, after a couple of generations of them doing that, and then somehow the ravens will leave, the wolves are going to be like, I don't remember how to hunt. Basic thing that you should know how to do. This is why you should not rely on things on the cloud. Yeah, don't trust things that you can already do. Don't pay someone else to do the thing that you know how to.
It's true. Well, who needs jobs? You know?
Yeah.
No one needs jobs. Ravens can do them. I mean, AI can do them.
Oh, great. I'm really glad that I can have somebody charge $30,000 for me to come find food, to deliver food to my house that I could do with my own
Just
car.
Go pick it up in your own car.
But no, it's a great deal. I get to charge like my entire month's rent to get like a burrito delivered.
For twice the price.
I hate everything. Anyway, sorry, continue. Ravens.
Oh, right.
Ravons. Yes.
Ravon. They're kind of parasites a little bit, but the wolves don't seem to mind. They're just kind of like,
it's like you said, it's mutually beneficial. Yeah, they're just making them lazy.
This isn't to say that it couldn't happen at some point. That's the cool thing, is that
I think that could happen. Yeah.
This is how humans and wolves started.
Right. I was gonna say, or you get a split. You get those who are like survivalist wolves who like refuse to, they're basically like Luddites.
Yeah.
They refuse to accept any. I'm just turning this into a perma-friend story already. I can't help but do this.
I'm gonna let you do it. Go on.
I'm gonna stop giving away free ideas. Just wait. Save this for later in my sketchbook.
Or it's just a huge metaphor for our world right now. We're the wolves.
Oh yeah, we are the wolves. Yeah, I would say so. That's what I'm saying. Tech. The crows are tech.
I feel sad because I don't want them to be.
You don't want the crows. I mean, they're not literally tech. I'm just
I know. I just don't want them to be the bad guys.
Projecting ourselves onto it.
I know. This is the problem with saying domestication, because humans can't help but just put all of our own issues onto these animals. To be like, oh, they're controlling. They must be domesticating these wolves because they're, Listen, I mean, I guess.
The important thing is that the crows are not linked to any kind of stock market, and they don't have like a stock price that they need to worry about. Therefore, it's okay, and it's all just fun.
I want to be one of them. I want to look. Imagine just flying around, yelling,
just telling,
screaming at wolves.
I mean, I scream when I'm on a plane all the time, but not for the same reasons.
You get escorted off, when you land,
but not because I'm screaming. That's because I'm afraid, not because
I was going to say it's not because of the screaming. It's because of
it's because of the beard, which is now trimmed, by the way. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it is trimmed. Look at that. You look 10 years younger.
I do. I looked very old when I had that thing.
It was fun, though. It was fun. Go watch the YouTube, everybody, and subscribe.
Go watch me touch my face nonstop from the last episode. It was
so
bad.
Like you're tweaking the whole time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're just like.
I looked like Tyrone from Chappelle's Show, where I'm like, I smoke rocks. He's just like,
just picking at the beard, shaving it with your own hands. So over the years, there's these like fact sites that are like, oh, they're domestication. No, they're not. But that's not to say that they can't be, because this is how humans and wolves started, and now we have little freak hybrid dogs,
wolves in our home
with flat faces that can't regulate their own temperature because we decided to play God.
Yeah, that we need to push around in a baby stroller.
In a stroller.
It makes me so. Listen. Oh yeah. I can't in LA.
Either. See,
LA is a very specific dog town too. It's like this city is like. This is where the dog apocalypse happens, is because of the way that people treat dogs in this city. It's just like, it's too much. I
always think of that Rick and Morty episode where their dog Snowball, it gets him put in a mech suit and decides to like get back at everyone for taking his balls. Anyway, this is how humans and wolves started, and also how humans and cats are still doing it. Like, technically, cats aren't domesticated. They are semi-domesticated. Theirs is more
don't do anything. They do nothing.
They kill Okay, here's the thing. I've noticed. Now that Mouse is no longer with us, I'm going to fight you on this. Now that Mouse is no longer with us, rest in peace, there are so many spiders in my house.
Really?
That cat was eating all of the spiders. I'm I know. So yeah, he did something. He ate spiders. So
our cat doesn't do shit.
Yeah, why?
Except for shit.
Literally. On places
Literally
you don't want her to.
Just shits and pisses everywhere. And I'm like,
She's
great,
still
thanks.
freaking out about the move?
I don't know. Whatever, bro. I don't even care.
Seems like you do.
No, I'm saying I don't care if she's freaking out. I'm just like,
oh.
I'm like, whatever. Get over. Welcome to the real world. No. She did used to occasionally catch a cockroach because, in the summers it gets really hot in LA. So they would come out of the, whatchamacallit, like the pipe. And the shower drain or whatever.
It's disgusting.
And then she just like torture it a little bit, and then I'd be like, good. Finally, you're doing something useful. Otherwise, it's just like messing around with wine all day.
That's where cats came from in ancient
from the
Egypt
sewers
and Syria. The house cats we have now are descended from like a ancient Syrian house cat. Yeah. Anyway, but the relationships, I feel like the raven relationship and the crow relationship with us and other animals is even more interesting than domestication, in my opinion, because it's like, not only did the ravens and wolves help each other hunt, but they also hang out. This is my favorite part.
Kick it. Nice.
They hang out together and they have fun. There's videos you can look up of these ravens playing with wolf pups.
Oh.
And they'll grab a stick and they'll play like a tug of war with a wolf pup.
Oh, that's very sweet.
And the wolves love it. They're having a blast. Like, dogs like to play. And so they tease them with the sticks, like they prod at them, and then they'll like swoop down and pluck at their tails as like a teasing thing.
And
the wolf will like respond by playfully biting the air and like chasing it and like romping around. And they also have been
Uncle Crow showing up to
Uncle vibes, fun uncle.
Yeah.
Fun Uncle Crows. Yeah, exactly. And they also noticed that ravens would adopt certain wolves. So they'd choose their little buddy. And for years or lifetime, or an entire lifetime, be attached to this one wolf. And a lot of times the wolves would grow up and they get too old to be part of the pack and actually function. And so they go off on their own for the rest of their lives. And the ravens would follow their wolf.
That's really sweet.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And they're like almost like a bonded friend pair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which got
it's like a
people
mech
like
and then the pilot. It's like a kaiju thing. Yeah.
And these wolves just have a fun. And then, of course, I went into the mythology aspect of it. And just as I suspected, wolves and ravens have been friends in mythology for millennia. So
interesting.
This is nothing new. Like,
so Doug Smith wasn't the first one to notice this. He just took contemporary credit for it.
He took scientific credit for it because he proved it. But Odin, like, again, I said last episode, Odin has those two ravens.
The two ravens.
Like, he sends out to collect info. He also has 2 pet wolves that are at his sides at all times. So his 4 pets are 2 wolves and 2 ravens. And they often are all mingled. Anyway,
what is this? They're swinging?
Yeah, they're swinging. They're swingers. Norse swingers.
You just did one of these where they're like, they're like switching off back and forth.
That is... I didn't have a word, and so I did that. I'm glad you interpreted it.
I had to make one up for you. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much my tab, but I have some pictures I want to send you.
Yeah, please do.
Here's a bunch of here's a wolf with some ravens. And then here they are eating together.
That's an interesting photograph because all the ravens are pointed in one direction and then the wolf is pointed in a different direction. It's like a composition.
The other direction.
Also, this one makes a perfect
Yellowstone.
Pyramid. These are interesting. Who took these photos?
I don't know. Somebody.
These are all compositionally very interesting, actually.
I don't know if it was by a photographer, but there is so many instances of this. Like there's so many photos.
What is it? The horns?
Yeah. Here's another one of them. Just kind of looks like they're opening it up for the ravens.
Whoa.
They're just sitting there, like, okay, guys, my turn.
Ravens just have like the best silhouettes too.
Oh, the best. And you can look. There's hundreds and hundreds of pictures. Oh, I like this one. Oh no, that's
these are all great. They're very low res, which I don't like. But these are all really good photographs. I have to say, the compositions are all really fascinating.
This one's cool. Whoa.
Whoa.
I'm kind of obsessed with that one.
It's so bloody, and then there's wings everywhere. These are great. If you guys aren't on the YouTube, go take a look at these.
Yeah, they're cool. You can
find higher res versions of these.
And it's just such a cool, such a metal combo,
Very metal, yeah.
And of course, it reminds me of Game of Thrones because
I was gonna say
the wolf dire wolves and the ravens
Dire
and
wolves and
the
the ravens. It's
starks.
all part of it. Yeah.
And I should note that they mainly hunt. This is mainly in the winter, which is their
Yeah.
when they're both out and about every day. So again, it reminded me
What do
of
they
the
do the
starks.
rest of the year? They're just like not hunting or what?
The article I read talked about the winter. I do think they do it all year.
They
But I
summer
think
in
that
the south of
it's
France or something. They're just
because
like,
I
we
think the
have
ravens.
to go to Nice.
We're going to Nice. No, I think the ravens do go places. I can't.
I
don't
see.
know.
They're migrating
Yeah.
or whatever.
But then I almost went down this big rabbit hole of individual wolves that have these names because they track all the wolves in Yellowstone and they all have names. And people are like, there's like fan clubs for these wolves.
That's Doug.
But they're all numbers, which is even crazier. So
What are they, Elon Musk's wolves?
yes. And they have old letters that don't make sense. Anyway, that's my tab about wolves and ravens and them being friends.
That's awesome. I loved it. That was a lot
Thanks.
of fun. That's something that I will take with me and perhaps do some story writing with.
You story writing? I don't
Never,
know about
never
that.
in my life.
I don't know.
This will be there's a first time for everything. Thank you for that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What do you have?
As I mentioned last week, you made this podcast entirely to English in my absence. This week I continue my quest.
Sorry, I made it. I said it. Okay, not gonna get defensive. You're right.
This week I continue my quest to set the sun on the British Empire once and for all.
Oh, does it set?
So
it finally
what's
sets,
that?
right? The sun does set on the British Empire. We're over that, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know when. Does England have to officially declare that like the sun has been set?
No, it just means that everywhere in the world, when the sun is up somewhere,
There's
it
no
is
more
touching a colony.
Oh, I see. I don't know. Actually,
So-
I never thought to look into that. Because frankly, I don't want to think about them at all. Except for this tab.
Wow.
You're like, I have to look this up if the British is set. Okay. Anyway, so I've had this tab open for quite a while now.
All right.
And I don't quite remember exactly the path that led me to it. I think I had been looking up like stolen artifacts from the British Museum or something to that
Yeah.
effect. And this is not about that specifically, but I think somehow through that I found this story. However I got there, it doesn't matter. The reward is that we all get to learn about, in my opinion, one of the greatest pieces of hater art ever commissioned.
Yes.
This is like
Excellent.
the pinnacle of haterade. And I will get to the actual piece, like all art history lessons, without knowing the context. You can't really appreciate its full beauty.
Okay.
So you got to know the beef before we get to the actual piece. And
Love
who would
this.
commission such a beautiful piece of hatriosity? For that, we have to go back to 18th century Mysore, India, and learn about its ruler, Tipu Sultan.
Okay.
Do
Ooh,
you
I don't know anything
Tipu
about this.
Sultan?
Okay.
Okay.
No.
Cool. I also didn't learn I didn't know anything about this, which is why this one took me forever to come across, because I was like, oh, there's a lot of reading for me to understand. So
Yeah.
there's quite a lot of context. So Tipu Sultan came to power smack dab in the middle of the Second Anglo-Mysore War in 1782, after the death of his father, Hyder Ali. Now, the Second Anglo-Mysore War is a really bizarrely fascinating global gossip mill that needs to be untangled. But essentially, Hyder Ali went to war with the British East India Company over their overstepping of territory in 1780. And he did this with the support of the French, who were also pissed at the Brits for the whole, like everything.
Everything. The 100-year war they just left. 100 years before.
Most recently at that one, it was the 7 Years' War.
Oh, the 7,
but-
that's right. Dude, have you
yeah.
read of that conspiracy theory about how the butterfly
Tell me.
effect starting from the 7 Years' War? That
Let's hear it.
that pretty much, I don't remember. I'll do it in a tab, but it literally the effect of that war on where we are now, it laid the foundation for
Really?
World War I, World War II.
Oh, no shit.
How everything just kind of I think it was the 7 Years' War. But I was reading about it. I'll do it as a tab because it's
Yeah, that sounds
it sets
awesome.
in motion everything.
Interesting.
Anyway,
I wonder if this ends up being like one of the little, butterfly flaps that go in
We'll
it
see.
as far as what I'm going to cover. But anyway, of course, this is the 1780s. And you know who else
The
is
French will
super
take-
duper?
the French will be like any excuse to just kill the British. They're like, well, I don't care who it is. We're there.
Yeah.
With us, they're like, we don't like you Americans either, but you're killing them, so
Yeah.
we're there. Here's
That's what I'm
some
saying.
generals.
So that was my next point. Is like, who's super duper not into the British is the good old blood, white, and blue Miss Gulf of America herself, the United States.
I want to cheer, but
Sure. Cool.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the Revolutionary War, the founding fathers looked for inspiration anywhere that they could, right?
Right.
And sure, we'd all love to have enough money to sit around and like just kill British colonizers all day. But when it's your job and you've killed like thousands of them, the romance, it kind of goes away a little bit. Just kind of like making art. People are always like, oh my God, you get to do what you love for a living. And I'm like, dude, it's still a job.
A fraction of it.
Yeah. People don't realize this, but even a job like making art, still a job. And whether you're drawing,
you have to overcome the like, I gotta quit.
Exactly.
It's not fun anymore. Every day. Anyway, go on.
And whether you're drawing, I don't know, crows or shooting an English soldier in the face, you need to create space for yourself to become inspired. Anyway, maybe you can hire a raven to come scout out British troops in red coats for you so you can kill them, or they can help you kill them in advance. Then you can split their chest open and then the ravens can bang in there or whatever it is that they're going to
do. The crows are the ones who bang on dead bodies.
Oh, sorry, not the ravens, the crows. So the founding fathers found their inspiration in Hyder Ali. They found their inspiration in Hyder Ali standing up to Meghan Markle's great-great-great-great-grandfather-in-law or whoever the hell it would have been to the King of England.
George III,
nerd. So initially, Ben Franklin was clued into the hot goss by a French general, but pretty soon John Adams got hooked and they were all sending letters back and forth like they just watched White Lotus on Sunday night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They're like, girl, I hope those pasty ass Marmite lovers get what's coming to them.
Says the other pasty ass Marmite lovers that were just barely British.
That's my next point. I'm like, this reminds me of that Onion headline where it's like, typical straight white male says typical straight white female. Have you ever seen that Onion article? Yes. That's basically what all this like English American stuff to me is. And I'm like, yeah, so guys funny. Are from the same place.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
Fine, whatever. That's what it is. You're not fooling anybody. But I digress. And our main dude, Tipu, he's like a general or something, and he's fighting his dad's war, and he's a true believer. He's out on the front lines killing the British.
Whoa.
But in the midst of the war, his dad dies of cancer. So Tipu's got to go home and take over the family business as the ruler of Mysore. Now,
bummer.
Obviously, Tipu was a Nepo baby, but he was also very assertive and committed to strengthening his power. And soon he establishes Mysore as a kingdom independent from the Mughal Empire, and he makes new alliances in industries. Oh, wow. The jury's out in terms of how great or bad this guy was. That was just like 35 too many tabs of like me understanding exactly like how positive or negative he was for the area. He
was the ruler of a country, so probably not great.
Yeah. And he was known for being
there's going to be good stuff and there's going to be horrific stuff. So
yeah. And don't forget, this is the second Mysore or Anglo-Mysore War, right? That his father had started. So he's basically like, he's a Nepo baby in the way that like he's raised to hate England. So he's like second generation hater.
I'm realizing from the Discord that English people are also now raised to hate English people.
Good. The English Empire.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Someone in the Discord
hot take.
Was like,
yeah.
We deserve
I'm finally
it.
Coming out. Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
Especially in matters when we're talking about India.
And my family left for a reason.
Yeah. But back to the Anglo-Mysore War.
It was on purpose because we had that privilege. We could choose. Sorry, go on.
So remember, the second Anglo-Mysore War is going on, and it wages on for a little bit longer until it finally ends with the signing of the Treaty of Mangalore in 1784, which restored the status quo antebellum. So basically, it's a draw. They fought for all this time. A bunch of people died. Nobody moved forward on the chessboard further or back or whatever. But even after the war was over, Tipu was like, my English killing days are just beginning. Don't bury me while I yet live, because the best of James Brown is yet to come.
Wow. The origin of that quote. The true origin.
It came from James Brown. Huge fan of Tipu.
Huge.
Anyway, so Tipu, he had to get back to like ruling and shit. And as part of his rebrand, he adopts the tiger as the symbol of his empire.
Oh, cool.
And suddenly there's tigers everywhere. Everywhere. It's on his throne. It's on the weapons. It's on his armor. He had tiger stripes painted on walls, used in uniforms. He's getting up every morning and reading Calvin and Hobbes as he eats a bowl of Frosted Flakes. He had season tickets to the Detroit Tigers. He's beating everybody in Street Fighter 2 as Sagat, and he keeps doing the tiger uppercut over and over again. He was the top tiger boy boss.
Wow. Tacky. Beautiful. Like, because you think of tiger print nowadays is so tacky. But I'm sure it was pretty awesome back then just to be like, it was a whole thing. Tiger.
It's tiger related. Tiger prints. And again, it's branding. To him, it's like, of course, the tiger is the symbol of India. It's the symbol. But like, it's sort of like this throwback. And then he's basically like, we're going to fully use this as like the new symbol of like my new reign. And also as like a stand up against the British. And of course, the British, they're off doing their colonial stuff like they usually do.
Yeah.
It's not great.
25% of the earth.
Was it really that much? 25%?
At the height. Yeah.
Dear Lord. What year was the height? Do you know like when it was?
I want to say it was in the 1800s, like late. I think it was during Victoria's reign.
It was that late still even, huh?
Yeah. And it started to all fall apart around World War I, which is when most monarchies didn't have power
Yeah, that's
anymore.
true. That's when everything started to transition.
Yeah. Out. And Britain.
25%.
25%. So if you go onto the Wikipedia of the British Empire, there's an entire list of countries that celebrate their independence from Britain. Hundreds.
25% of the world, apparently.
Everyone, like half the year is an Independence Day from Britain. Like there's an Independence Day for like half the countries on Earth from Britain. It's pretty funny.
It is really funny.
And sad and scary. And what a bummer. But at this point, I know. At this point, the sun has set. I think very much so on the British Empire. Thank goodness. And look, if they had just stuck around and did the thing they did best, which was make wool in the 1500s, they could have been great. But no, they had to go and take over the rest of the world. Anyway, sheep farmers. Go on.
Sheep farmers, yeah. Anyway, British are doing their colonial stuff. And frankly, Tipu, he's also going around like conquering shit. It's just like this real life game of Civ. Oh, we're just putting troops over here for no reason. That's not a scout. It's just a wanderer. They're forming alliances.
Wait, have you played Civ?
We've gone over this, yes.
Okay, sorry, I forgot. It's okay. I was getting it mixed up with Magic the Gathering for some reason.
No, I did play. We talked about this. I played Civ for like 1 week.
That's right.
By the way, in the Discord, people are sharing the numbers of the hours that they've played Civ, and I'm like, dear Lord, no, I didn't do anything like that.
Yeah, I saw some of those. I was like, salute.
It's intense.
I thought I had a lot, but
no, I didn't have that many hours. This is not judging.
Look, you should see my Skyrim hours. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I don't think I played any game that many hours. I just get bored after a certain point. The thing is, like, I haven't committed to a single game for that many hours.
I'm a completionist, so like my hyperfixation sets in, and I'm like, really? I have to get every quest, and then I fail school. I have to go beg my teachers to let me turn something in late.
I think the most what I ever played was during the pandemic when we were just playing a lot of stuff because we were just at home.
Yeah,
I think I played.
That's what I played the most, Civ.
Really?
And I felt myself falling down the addiction.
Civ hole.
Yeah. Civ hole war.
Ooh, I like that Civ hole war.
Yeah. It's a Civ hole war down here. No, I was like, I need to win with every single country so I can get all of the little trophies. And then I was like, this isn't good. I had to back away. Yeah. Also, I had a baby, and that took all my time up. So
I'm glad that you were able to take care of your child instead of playing Civ.
My kid saved me from a video game addiction, so thanks, kid.
You're like that, again, the meme where like the mother's like on the computer, like while the baby's on fire. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The Sims. That's the Sims meme. Where
is that from The Sims? I didn't actually know what that's from.
It's from The Sims.
The other game that you played 10,000 hours and used as a as
my own little British Empire.
Right. I was going to say. You use it as like a petri dish for like you're dabbling with eugenics.
Yeah, as everyone did without realizing it until they were
Next thing you know, the third Anglo-Mysore War breaks out in 1790. The third one. Okay. And unfortunately for our boy Tipu, he is the decisive loser in this one.
Oh.
He straight up gets his genes creamed.
Oh, just creamed?
Creamed
through
creamed through and through.
The
And
bad
in
kind.
the bad kind, yeah, not the fun cream and jeans. And in the treaty negotiations, General Charles Cornwallis demands a
I know that guy.
massive. You know him?
Yeah, he's evil. Pure evil.
Is he the guy that we talked about with like the Boer War, like,
No, that's
earlier? Or am I
another
just
equally as evil man.
I forget all their names.
Cornwallis was the. Oh, I was just reading about him. Wasn't he the one that ordered the? Here, go on.
No,
The
I was
the
gonna say
killing
so.
of. Didn't he like
Of
order
what?
a genocide of sorts?
I assume so. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't read much about him beyond this specific part. So
Okay.
he demands a massive financial tribute from Tipu, in addition to half of Mysore's territories. Like they were going through a divorce or some shit. It's just totally brutal.
I get this part of India on the
Yeah.
weekends. And
Yeah.
no. Oh, I got
basically
him
what he
mixed up
does.
with someone else. I'm sorry. I got him mixed up with a different guy.
Wow, sullying General Charles Cornwallis's
Cornwallis
good name.
is he Cornwallis. Everyone was Cornwallising except Buster.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
No,
off. I wrote that was my next line. I was just gonna say he's laughing and writing and cornholing.
we're just the same every time.
Yeah.
No, he was the one. I know Cornwallis because he helped us in the
Oh, he helped the
War.
Americans.
Yeah, but I was thinking of this other dude who ordered. Oh, Cecil Rhodes. I was thinking of Cecil Rhodes.
Very different names, but okay. Who's
but
Cecil Rhodes?
Because he was the guy who took over Rhodesia and was
Mhm.
named. It's not Rhodesia anymore. He named it after himself, and he committed some of the absolute worst atrocities I've ever
Great.
read. Yeah, so
Fun. Awesome. Anyway.
sorry.
he goes through this brutal divorce, and since General Cornhole didn't trust Tipu to not back out of the deal, get this. He takes 2 of Tipu's sons hostage.
Oh, what?
He takes them ransom. It's Prince Abdul
old
Khalik.
school.
Yeah, he was 8 years old, Prince Abdul Khalik, and Prince
No.
Mazu-ud-Din was 5. Straight up children. He just takes them hostage, and he's like, you need to pay all of this and give us all your land, or we won't give you your kids back until you're done.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's gross. Thanks, England. Great job. Thumbs up. And it was during this moment of loss and swimming in the most concentrated haterade God has ever created that he commissions Tipu's tiger.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about art. Okay, all right. I'm with him in this. I'll follow this guy. Look, we get this guy's kids back.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I'm gonna
Show me this.
I'm gonna send you a picture of it first, and then I'm gonna send you a video. So here's the first shot I'm gonna send you of Tipu's tiger.
Oh. Yes. Oh, this is so cool. This is
Here's another angle of it.
Should I describe it?
Why don't I?
Machine?
Okay, you ready? I'm gonna give you the explanation of what it is.
Okay.
The tiger, an almost life-size wooden semi-automaton, seen mauling a British soldier lying on his back.
Oh.
Concealed inside the tiger's body behind a hinged flap is an organ, which can be operated by turning the handle next to it. This simultaneously makes the man's arm lift up and down and produces noises intended to imitate his dying moans. In short, he commissioned the most metal piano in existence.
This is so good. You guys, this is so cool. And it's beautiful. So it's like this goofy looking wooden British soldier, and the tiger is fully ripping his neck, like ripping at his neck, like pulling his neck out, his throat out. And the tiger is beautiful. Is this a video?
Yeah, so I sent you a video. It's only about a minute long. We should just play the audio.
This thing is massive. Okay, I'm starting it.
Now, what happens is, if I wind the handle, the tiger apparently lets out a
old British
fearsome
dude
growl.
just being like, if I operate
And
the handle.
Figure here, who's a European,
Sorry,
in
pause.
terror and
He's like a figure here who is a European.
just put my hand
No,
up,
dude, that's straight up a British
hold it
dude.
and start.
So
Yep.
funny.
Here we go.
Look at his eyes. He's winding the tiger up.
I think that's the scream. Where's the growl? Oh, that was the growl of the tiger. It's brilliant.
The growl, the scream and the growl. No way. I love this. This is the most amazing piece of work. I need this on display. A copy of this on display at the British Museum.
Yeah, seriously. There's another picture so you can sort of see the organ
inside.
part of it, the innards.
I love that he was like, I'm so angry. I lost this war. My kids have been taken. I'm going to make a sick-looking tiger ripping the throat out of General Cornwallis, because that's what the guy looks like.
Actually, so in reference to that, so it's been proposed that the design was inspired by the death in 1792 of a son of General Sir Hector Munro, who had commanded a division during Sir Irkut's victory at the Battle of Porto Novo in 1781, when Hyder Ali, who was Tipu's father, was defeated with a loss of 10,000 men.
Oh.
Hector Sutherland Munro, a 17-year-old East India Company cadet on his way to Madras, was attacked and killed by a tiger in 1792 while hunting on Sagar Island. So essentially, Tipu's like, oh, you beat my dad? Sure. But remember that time that your son got eaten by a tiger? I do. How about we go back to the brandy room and listen to his dying screams to the tune of Candle in the Wind? Metal.
So cool. I love this guy. I just love how terrified that the British kid looks. His eyes are terror. They caught the terror. Yeah. This is a beautiful symbol. I'll be honest. This is beautiful. And it is heavy-handed in the best way.
Oh, it is. This is all about the subtlety of a sledgehammer coming in.
Yeah. Please, everybody go look at this.
So it's important to note here that the Brits hunted tigers because it was the regional, like, royal sport, quote unquote, but also because of its symbolism. Remember, the British have a lion as their national symbol. Yeah. And they're like, oh, we're lions coming in to kill tigers and bears. Oh my. Even though in nature this wouldn't really happen because frankly, the whole metaphor is idiotic, but whatever.
Unless it's on the set of Roar.
That's true. Which, man's creation, putting them together in a way that they're never meant to be.
Why is Britain's animal a lion?
I don't know. That's the Persians' animal.
I know.
That's been Iran's animal like forever. They probably stole it like they stole everything else. Who knows? I've got to go down that rabbit hole because their lions aren't native to Europe. Not native to England, yeah.
Also, they've had the lion for like way longer than they've even known what lions are. So, it was a griffin. Oh, because it started as a griffin. I don't know. Whatever. Go on.
Okay, so eventually, after creating this, Tipu paid off the ransom, and I believe he got his sons back. But of course, this was the last straw for everybody. And from what I was reading, again, this is all like, there's all these wars and like, my lord, there's so much stuff here. So I apologize if I get some of these facts wrong. I tried my best to try and make it as concise as I could. But
it's complex.
From what I was reading, it seems like the British were essentially like, oh, Mysore has WMDs and we need to go in there and liberate the Indians and take down Tipu because he's basically trying to rally all the world's governments to take us down. Because, we're not doing a good enough job of that ourselves.
Right. We're not doing a good enough job of making everyone angry at us.
Yeah, exactly. But they're like, oh, he's a threat. Additionally, I thought this was fun. This ties it back to a couple of episodes ago. One of the motivations of Napoleon's invasion of Egypt was to establish a junction with India against the British. Bonaparte wished to establish a French presence in the Middle East with the ultimate dream of linking with Tipu Sultan.
No way. Oh, no, yeah. Napoleon was all over.
Everybody knew this guy. People around the world were like, dude, hell yeah, you hate the British and you're killing them. And then you have this dope ass, crazy piano that's amazing. We love you.
It's like death piano?
Yeah. Super metal.
Let's go. Let's ride. Get in the car. We're going to go kill some Brits.
Yeah, exactly. Get in, loser. We're going to kill British. Loser.
We're going to go kill the British.
So essentially the Brits make this calculation that Tipu is going to continue to be a pain in our ass. And they already took all of his money. So they're like, whatever. They fabricate a reason to start another war to just take this dude out.
Sad.
So this is when the fourth Anglo-Mysore War breaks out in 1799.
That's insane. Why are there so... Anglo-Mysore... Looking at him. Okay. Fourth,
yeah. This one breaks out in 1799 and ended when the British took the capital of Srirangapatnam and unfortunately killing Tipu Sultan during the attack.
Sad.
But he went down. He was just like... And then there's all this... this guy is a person that, forgive the pun, but lionized himself. Tigerized himself, I should say. But he
tigerized. Entigered himself.
Entigered himself. He's very good at controlling the narrative of how he was seen by the public and stuff.
Branding.
So there was this very famous quote where he was like, oh, I'd rather... Basically, what was it? I forget what it was. It was like, I'd rather die than whatever, be taken by the British or something. Hold on.
Ooh. Okay.
I would rather live a day as a tiger than a lifetime as a sheep. This sounds like some whatever.
That sounds like a bumper sticker on a right winger's truck.
Yeah, but exactly.
This is the OG and it's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know whether or not he actually says this, but So he dies, and of course, the Brits looted and pillaged the palace and the city. Many of Tipu Sultan's most valuable treasures were distributed as prizes, and when they discovered the mechanical tiger amongst the riches, it was not seen as especially valuable, but they saw value in using it as a sort of psyop prop.
Oh.
To add insult to injury, the official Medal of Honor given to those who fought in the Battle of Srimangapatnam depicted a ferocious lion overpowering a tiger and forcing it to the ground. Here, let me show you. So again, this is all about like the English and the Indians like branding lions and tigers fighting back and forth as a way to win like an image war, which is weird. It's like a PR campaign. Yeah.
That is sad. Yeah, that lion is taking over that tiger.
Yeah.
It's like there was this like embroidery my friend found at a thrift store, I think. And it was like this poem about how the unicorn bends its knee and bows down to the lion. And the unicorn is the Scottish national animal. And
it is?
It was, yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's kind of funny.
Wales is a dragon and Scotland is a unicorn. But it was all about how like, and since the unicorn bowed down, it didn't get hurt by the lion. And it was like this whole like messed up metaphor. Anyway, classic. They loved that symbol.
Yeah.
The lion.
Anyway, there's this terrible lion with like this, fighting a tiger. It just made me think like, I can only imagine how douchey their like AI generated Facebook graphics and bumper stickers on their trucks would have been if this happened today. Just, I can't, unfortunately. Barf.
Yeah, because it's happening.
So they decide to send Tipu's tiger back to Beans and Toast Land, where they put it on display as a trophy of war.
In the, British Museum?
No. So people would come experience the irony of a savage brown man who dared to commission such a piece defaming the poor innocent English, only to have him predictably lose. And now his folly against God is on display for all to see. It was displayed in the India Museum of the East India House, where visitors could crank the handle and were basically encouraged to play with it. This is all throughout the 1800s and early 1900s, and this went on until the mechanism became damaged after a bombing during World War II.
Whoa.
Yeah, it went on for a while.
Holy cow, that's like over 100 years.
Yeah.
That's insane. And it held up. Wow,
held
testament to the work, the craftsmanship of that thing. Bunch of hands all over it. Whoa.
Tipu's tiger is now on display at the Victoria and Albert Museum.
My favorite one. I mean, museum. It shouldn't be there, but I do like that museum a lot.
Sidebar, apparently during this period under Hyder Ali and Tipu, the Indians invented like rockets, like the first rockets that they used against the British during warfare.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had to stop myself. I was about to go read like 30 hours about rockets, and I was like, just stay on task, buddy.
Oh, man. Good job for staying on task, but now I need to know about that. So,
so many
put that on the docket for another time, maybe.
Jot that down. Anyway, that's my tab about Tipu's tiger. It was so cool. I love that thing. I really want to play it. But what a deranged and incredible piece of art.
Because it's truly a man at his very last. He's lost so much. It's like, what else is there to do than just be an absolute hater? Understandably, when you said this is a haterade thing, I was like, no, this is absolutely warranted. I can't believe he didn't do more.
Yeah.
I can't believe he didn't like.
Yeah. There was a bunch of stuff. There's more. There's like cannons with tigers on them and stuff. Like he went crazy, like commissioning all kinds of stuff. But this is like the pièce de résistance.
Wow. It's beautiful. This is incredible.
I think so too. It was really funny to watch some of the videos about this online too, where it was like these British people, these English people specifically being why would someone commission this? And I'm just like screaming at the YouTube being like, why wouldn't they?
I can't believe more of these didn't exist in every single country on earth. Yeah, no, it's I should have been saying English because they were the driving.
Yes.
Anyway.
Not the Brits, the English. Anyway, that's my tab.
Thank you. It was incredible.
I like it.
Loved that. Yeah, I really loved that. Now I'm reading about Tipu Sultan.
I don't know, Sultan.
Pioneer of rocket artillery. Okay, I'm not even to touch this. Not touching the rocket artillery history. And I see what you mean. Okay, well, should we close these tabs?
Yeah, I think
I opened like 6.
For sound effects' sake, I think obviously we got to have a tiger attacking somebody and killing them, right?
Ripping something apart. Yeah.
Maybe you can have a crow crow and a tiger together.
Crow and a tiger.
Killing a British soldier. Killing an Englishman. Killing an Englishman in the 1790s.
Yes. What do you sound like?
Oh, no, that's a bit much, ain't it?
Excuse me.
Oh.
Well, don't do that part, Alyssa. Unless you could. You could just put Kave's voice in there. It's up to you. But have fun. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
You count down. Your turn.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Yep. Rip that dude to pieces. Let that crow peck out his insides. Or that raven eat more than just his eyes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay. Moving on to listener emails. I believe you're up first this week.
Okay. This is from Calvin from Utah. In the most recent episode, Hannah and Josie talked briefly about the shock that sometimes comes from aligning the timeline of one historical context or narrative with timelines from another historical context. After noting that the Louisiana Purchase was a fundraising effort by Napoleon for his Napoleon.
Still blows my mind. That
I know,
fact is
right?
so, I just cannot process that. I don't know why.
No, it makes no sense. That very brief mention reminded me of this screenshot of 4 tabs I opened to verify some claims I saw online a month or so ago. Basically, according to our current best estimates, there were sharks swimming in Earth's oceans before Saturn had rings.
Oh, I read about this recently.
Yeah. Since they showed up... I know. Since they showed up, the sun and its planets have orbited the galaxy almost twice. Polaris, the North Star, has only been shining for somewhere between 1/6 and 1/10 of that time. Thanks again for this show. And Josie was an amazing guest host, Calvin. So, for the most of the existence of, sharks, they've been here. What?
Yeah.
That blows my mind. Saturn's rings, I went and read somewhere that they're like 100 billion years old, and sharks are 450 billion years old.
That combines the two craziest things, which is like space and then also the evolution of animals, like overlap in the ocean. You're just like, oh, my mind's gonna explode right now.
Yeah, I can't comprehend it.
Nothing matters.
And Napoleon was there too.
And Napoleon was there with the sharks being like, hey, remember rings? And they're like, no.
He's like, I can't die. Please kill me. Okay. Your turn.
Amazing. Thank you, Calvin from Utah. Our second email is from Jason from Melbourne. Melbourne. I can't do an Australian accent.
It's Melbourne. I don't know.
Melbourne. I'm terrible at this. Hi, Kava, Hannah, and Alyssa. Thank you, Jason, for giving Alyssa a shout out. I appreciate that. Alyssa also appreciates it. While I'm not someone who usually
digging around to finding a recording of a tiger ripping something to pieces. Yeah, she appreciates it. She does stupid work for us. Anyway,
she does.
Go on.
Not the very serious academic research that we do that's important. While I'm not someone who usually leaves tabs open, I do have what feels like 500 open podcasts at a time. There's just too many hours of shows to get through in the week. I say this because I've been listening to your show from the start, and in Kava's case, since musical splaining. Old school fan. But I've been too anxious to email a tab as I quickly grew further and further behind on the show. Listen, Jason, here's the thing. We don't even remember what we did 2 episodes ago. So if you had just written in,
I don't care.
We wouldn't have even be like, whoa, what? Crows? I forgot what her tab is already by the end of this episode.
Ravens and wolves, bro.
I don't know. Did you talk about the British somehow? Oh, wait, no, that was weirdly
That was you for once. Yeah.
After a concentrated effort, listening to multiple episodes a week for the last couple of months, I can proudly say that I am up to date.
He just overdosed on us.
Man, we got to send Jason I closed all my 500 open podcast sticker or something. I don't know. I'm up to date. He deserves an award from us. I feel responsible. Yeah.
How about some more shows for him?
Yeah. Just punishing him. Man who does well at work rewarded with more work.
I love that one.
I'd like to share this quick tab on the pointing at rainbows taboo shared by up to 124 cultures across the world. While specifics vary from culture to culture, it is believed that if you point a finger to a rainbow, it might become bent or paralyzed, fall off, wither, rot, or swell. Oh, I'm sorry, your finger might do all of that.
Oh, whoa.
Or develop warts, ulcers, or maggots.
Oh, sick.
Less commonly, such as in parts of New Guinea and Australia, the ill effects would befall your mother.
That's way worse.
Yeah. A final recurring idea was that should you accidentally point to a rainbow, there were remedies. you could wet the offending digit or put it into a bodily cavity like your mouth, anus, or belly button, or according to the Javanese version,
is anus.
That's what, immediately where my mind went. Or according to the Javanese version of the taboo, plunge it into a pile of buffalo dung. I really enjoy the manic energy you bring to every episode, and I'm looking forward to what tabs you both have in store for the future. All the best, Jason. So I did read through the article. At first I was like, oh, is it like anti-gay? But that's because I'm like modern pilled, because I'm just like, oh, right. The rainbow has not been in.
The rainbow has been around forever.
Yeah. Well, the idea is that like it's a lot of times it's seen as like this weird sacred thing where like, what is this weird magical display of colors that like defy logic?
Think about rainbows objectively, insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
So they're like, don't point at this like weird, holy like spirit that like God made that's like colorful. And also you're not supposed to like point at things because that's rude. So I think it's like a combination of the sort of
You're
two of those.
You're going to offend the rainbow.
Kind of, yeah. So that's where apparently it's sort of stems from.
Interesting. So it's almost too like supernatural to
It's too sacred to like pointing at it is wrong. Yeah. Cool. Which I thought was interesting. I never thought about that, but that was a really cool.
It makes sense.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you for getting up to date with the podcast. I swear there's it's not going to be on the test.
No.
We're not going to quiz you. I'm sorry to add to your anxiety.
We'd be the first to fail. Okay,
100%.
Jason?
But thank you. You're the best,
yeah,
Jason.
Thank
you for following from Musical Splaining as well. I appreciate that.
Thanks for making the jump.
If you also have a listener email, please send it to 500opentabs@gmail.com. That's 500. You can also try submitting like a voice memo that we could play. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Keep it to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes, let's say.
We don't want you to have your own podcast doesn't matter. Inside this podcast. You can do that in your own. Mics are weirdly cheap. So
they are. Speaking of Patrick, we should gatekeep podcasting more, but unfortunately, you and I still have one.
And if you want to follow us, you can find us at 500 Open Tabs on Instagram and Blue Sky. And me at Hannah Hillam on those things as well.
Yeah, but we're also on YouTube. We also have a Patreon. Join the Discord. All this stuff. I'm at PermaFriends on Instagram and Convitarian on Blue Streak.
Blue Streak.
Martin Lawrence movie. Blue Sky. Is there anything we wanted to talk about before we wrap it out? I can't remember if there was other stuff we need to. I guess there's something coming up right now.
I just really want to. I wanted to just really say, check out the Patreon if you want to support us financially, which we would greatly appreciate because this is a free show, and we love doing it. But there's also extra stuff on the Patreon for you, so that's also really fun over there. And the Discord, we got a whole community going on over there, and the YouTube. If you're more into YouTube, we got you. We're over there. And there's lots of fun pictures and videos.
No, if you love tigers, share this with somebody who also loves tigers. If you love crows, wolves, this is a very animal-centric episode.
Yes, as they all have been. If you love or hate Britain, send it to somebody you love.
If you're not a fan of colonialism, send this to your friend who... Send this to a colonialism.
Yeah, to a colony.
Please, but no, we need this to be shared with as many people as you can. Particularly the YouTube. That's specifically where we're trying to experience some growth if possible.
I'm not above begging. Please.
Dear Lord.
Please. We're in a stage that we really need this to grow. So if you like it a lot and you want it to keep going, follow us everywhere. Subscribe, rate.
Like and subscribe, yeah. Although I will say we have a couple fun things coming up this summer that I think will help us get a bigger audience. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime... man, I feel like I want to make a Tipu's Tiger like a sign off of some sort. Like I'll see you in the Tipu Tiger. Auditorium.
I'll see you
at the Tipu Tiger recital.
I'll see you at the Tipu Tiger recital. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The one-man show and the Gwen Stefani tribute toilet.
Gwen Stefani tribute toilet. I'll see you at the Tipu Tiger recital.
Concert. I'll see you at the Tipu Tiger concert.
Anyway, thanks guys. See you next week.
See ya.
Goodbye.